Darlington, South Carolina. An approaching storm has the barometric pressure changing, and that means everything in drag racing as we get set for quarterfinal action in Nitro Funny Cars. There is Freddie Neely from Covington, Georgia, a four-time national event winner, fifth in this category back in 1990, the last time these cars were seen on the IHRA trail. His opponent, a four-time IHRA national champion, Mark Oswald, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, now living in Azusa, California.
Mark normally drove for Candies and Hughes. That's really where he made his big reputation. Looks like some problems under the bonnet, though. Freddie Neely's crew member making a few last-minute adjustments up there to the fuel tank. Jim Blakely, the starter, walks over now, takes a look.
They cannot wait long with these fuel cars. No radiators. These things heat up quickly. We don't want anybody burning down in the staging area. Now Jim Blakely tells them to go ahead and roll Freddie up to the line. On the left, Neely is staged. On the right, there's Oswald. And Oswald smokes the tires at mid-track. So does Neely, but Oswald has to get out of it. Pick him, Freddie Neely.
Freddie Neely, a 581, 251. This was a driving contest at the halfway point. You can clearly see that Mark Oswald in the In-N-Out Burger car was distinctly ahead by about a half of a car length. But this race would be won by the car that quit spinning tires first, Freddie Neely.
Well, obviously, you of all people know how to backpedal down one of these tracks. Look like a pair of burnouts coming through here. 581 for you, 584 for Oswald. He left on you was 18 thousandths at the finish line.
I knew it was pretty close. I seen him all the way. I knew he was having problems, and I was having problems. I was just trying to pedal it, Brett, just trying to get it down the track. So
it came down to that. It was more than a horsepower battle.
Oh, yeah, it was more than a horsepower battle. We just put a little bit too much clutch in it. I had to load it up for him. I knew they was going to be ready for us, but evidently Chelsea put a little bit too much in it, too. So, you know, we get it ready here for the next round and see how we come out.
Pedaling it means using the throttle pedal to try to control the bite of the clutch and over 4,000 horsepower. There's a look at Gary Litton from Seymour, Tennessee, father of twin sons who make up his pit crew here. And there's another father of a racing son, Paul Smith from Boynton Beach, Florida. His son is in the top fuel class here at Darlington.
Paul Smith has been running either top fuel or nitro funny cars ever since the IHRA began, and probably before that, Bob.
Gary Litton in the Tennessee Shaker. Been around a long time. Great launch for both drivers. Litton has to shut it down. Something must have broken.
Smith is on a run. 578, 238 miles per hour. An easy win, as Litton definitely had mechanical difficulty.
There's the signature sound of 4,000 horses from Orange, California. This is Del Worsham. His opponent from Phoenix, Arizona, Paula Martin, the only female in the funny car field here at Darlington.
I'm sure this Paula would like to follow in the footsteps of Paula Murphy, who was the first really famous Nitro Funny Car female pilot. Matter of fact, she was just inducted into the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame recently.
Starter Jim Blakely goes over to Paula, tells her to move up. We've got a staging duel going on here. Got to be so careful with these cars, and Martin can't get off the line.
Paula Martin with some sort of mechanical difficulty. It'll be an easy win right now for Del Worsham. He slows to a 572, 240 miles per hour. No point in braking anything. Meanwhile, back at Paula Martin on the starting line, we'll lift up the body and see what the problem is.
Nothing obvious, nothing leaking.
A really tough way to lose. Every racer would like to lose at least being in the race, but to lose fire and have to shut off at the starting line is total frustration.
You can see from her reaction that Paula Martin is very disappointed. Now here's another look in the right lane. We'll see if we can pick out what the problem is.
Paula loaded up. You can tell by the smoke coming out of the headers, but nothing obvious.
Just rolled it across the line. Now a little bit of raw fuel into the top of the blower. And the mechanical starter gets that 4,000 horsepower engine running for Whit Bazemore from Atlanta, Georgia. And in the other lane, Bazemore's opponent, a real veteran of the sport from Maple Grove, Minnesota, Tom Hoover.
Hoover's been running Nitro Funny Cars about as long as I can remember also, Bob. Whit Bazemore, on the other hand, could be considered kind of a semi-rookie. He's been doing it a few years, but still relatively young to be fooling around with these high-powered cars.
Just 28 years old, Whit Bazemore started out as a racing photographer. Says the biggest lesson you learn in drag racing is humility. You can win one race and lose the next one. Good launch for both cars. Baysmore appearing to have the advantage in the right lane. Now here comes Tom Hoover. Real close. Hoover wins it.
Here's why both of them turned 5.62 identical EPs. You talk about close. Watch how close this finish line still shot is going to be right there.
That's worth another look with our ESPN photo finish camera, and we needed it for this one. That's a drag race.
Identical 562s. The true margin of victory at the finish line was 0.03 of a second.
I tell you what, I thought I'd win, but I really couldn't say I'd win, and it was one heck of a race for both we and Witt, and what a race.
The big difference was that you were clean as a whistle down here, and Witt murdered one big time, so you're looking good, at least from the outside.
You know, she's safe, and there's more left. Let's hope we can do it.
0.03 of a second between the two.
Good race, Witt.
Good run.
Good race indeed. In the next round, Tom Hoover will have lane choice in his meeting with Paul Smith, while Del Worsham will get to put Freddie Neely in the lane he wants in the semifinals. Let's move on now to the Nitro Floppers, the funny cars. Semifinal action. Our first matchup will be Del Worsham up against Freddie Neely. Neely with a cloudy burnout, heating up those fat rear slicks and laying down 2 tracks of molten rubber to provide the best possible traction at the launch. Both drivers taking a long burn. Now the idea is to back right up over those tracks you laid down.
Neely, the crowd favorite here. He's always done well in the South. He's based out of Covington, Georgia, whereas Del Worsham, well, he's the visitor from Orange, California.
Both drivers will try to stage quickly. Great launches, both drivers. Let's see if anybody smokes. Yes, Neely. Worsham keeps his foot in it and has a clean run.
Perfect run for Del Worsham, 566, 261 miles per hour. Now, he had the combination for the clutch on that run.
But everybody will be guessing in the next round as the weather continues to change. You saw Tom Hoover do his burnout. There's Paul Smith. Meanwhile, here's Brett with Del Worsham.
566 on that pass. That's exceptional.
Yeah, we're creeping up on it here. It's the first time I've ever raced on a track with these kind of conditions.
It changes by the minute.
Oh, yeah, but we're starting to get a handle on it here. We'll be all right for final.
Well, you can see just how young Del Worsham is. Meanwhile, let's see who he will meet in the finals. Tom Hoover against Paul Smith. Great launches, no smoke.
2 old veterans doing battle, and Tom Hoover pulls it out at the very end. 558, excellent run.
And with the quicker ET, Tom Hoover will have lane choice against Del Worsham in his first final ever. That should be a great matchup.
You know, everybody else is talking about how tricky this track can become, and here you come out and go 558, 268 miles per hour. That's nearly a new track funny car speed record. That's an amazing run in these conditions.
For the win and everything else, we're quite happy with the car, and for Scotch Color Film helping us this year, I hope we can do well, and maybe we can take this one home.
I'll tell you, it's been such a year for you even already in other competition. Is there something different going on this year?
Well, this year we kind of got the clutch system figured out a little bit, and we got some new cylinder heads in the car, and I've been really doing well this year.
That's for sure. Well, good luck in the final.
Thank you.
Del Worsham will be in his first final. Tom Hoover in his long career has never won one. That may change when we return to Darlington. On the dynamometer, it probably measured about 1,300 horsepower, but that seems like nothing compared with what this guy's got. In Nitro Funny Cars, Del Worsham and Tom Hoover.
Well, definitely, this is the new against the old. Tom Hoover was probably literally driving funny cars before Del Worsham had a driver's license.
Worsham in his first Nitro Funny Car final. Hoover hoping to take his first Nitro Funny Car victory.
Notice Del Worsham's picked up a new sponsor. A lot of things happened overnight.
Great launches. Looks like Worsham with the lead, but Worsham breaks out in flames. A huge fuel fire on Del Worsham's car, struggling to get it under control. He heads for the guardrail to help in getting it stopped. The safety hatch is open. Here comes Del Worsham, and that's the best news of all.
Worsham uninjured because of that safety fire suit. He's running away from the car now. He'll wait on the PTS truck to pull into place. Looks back at it, wondering what happened.
It had to have been a massive breakdown of the fueling system. Fuel from one end of the car to the other on the inside. Let's take another look.
The car is one burning inferno before he ever gets to the 8th mile mark. Now he's trying to get it stopped. Can you imagine what the driver is seeing inside that car? Nothing but smoke and flame. That's one reason Del Worsham turns to his left into the guardrail. He wants to get the car stopped so that he can get out of it. The car contacts the guardrail. He knows he's going slow enough that he won't get hurt. The hatch is open now. You'll see him climb out.
There is Robert Leonard in the black coat, IHRA National Event Director. Our Brett Kepner is down there as well, surveying the scene. Let's get his report.
Obviously one of the biggest fires we've had in IHRA competition in years, but you did a masterful job of getting this thing on the brakes and got out of it quick. You said you thought the blower came off.
Well, I seen the whole dashboard kind of blew up, and then there was fire, a bunch of smoke. I pulled the fire bottles, undid the escape hatch. As soon as it came to the stop, out with the belts and out the top.
Did you feel like you were with him?
I just wanted out of the car, though. I feel the heat.
Give him credit. A great driving job by Del Worsham, having the moment of his short career in these volatile funny cars.